Imagine waking up in total darkness, 30 meters beneath the ocean, inside a shipwrecked tomb that was never meant to hold the living. No food, no water, no light, just the creaking of twisted metal and the silence of drowned voices. You're alone, and by every law of nature, you should be dead. But somehow, you're not. The curtain rises, and the mask speaks. Welcome to another presentation of With Mr. Mask. I'm Mr. Mask, and let's begin. Tonight's story isn't a legend. It's not a myth, and it's not a tale of fiction woven for suspense. No, it's the true story of a man, Harrison O'Keefe, who defied the laws of nature, the grip of the ocean, and the ticking clock of death itself. Harrison, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. If not, well, blame the mask. Now, let me set the stage. It's May 26th, 2013. Rough waters off the coast of Nigeria. A tugboat named Jascon 4 is assisting a large oil tanker, battling heavy waves in the Gulf of Guinea. Below deck, 29-year-old Harrison O'Keefe, the ship's cook, is starting his morning routine. He's in the bathroom, alone, wearing nothing but a pair of boxers. He's thinking about breakfast and about his upcoming leave in just 3 days. What he wasn't thinking about was being flipped upside down, slammed into a wall, and thrown 30 meters to the ocean floor. Honestly, if you ever wondered what it's like to get hit in the head by your own toilet, ask Harrison. Anyways, a massive rogue wave hits the Jascon 4, capsizing it instantly. In seconds, the entire ship turns turtle, upside down, and begins to sink. The lights go out. Metal screams. Water floods in like a monster unleashed. Harrison tries to escape the bathroom, but it's already filling fast. Before he can even get his bearings, he's bleeding from the head, and the vessel crashes onto the ocean floor, 100 feet deep. In the pitch black water rising around him, Harrison swims, blind, through narrow corridors and pitch black rooms. He hears screams, shouts, panic, other crew members trying to escape, trying to survive. He follows the sound of voices and then makes a choice that defies logic. Instead of fighting toward the exit hatch, he turns around and swims deeper into the sunken tomb. As the ocean swallowed the Jascon 4, Harrison O'Keefe found himself thrown into another bathroom, this one attached to the second engineer's cabin. By pure chance, the door sealed behind him, and that was the miracle. Because instead of drowning, O'Keefe floated up into a tiny space near the ceiling, which was, technically, now the floor. There, trapped beneath 30 meters of seawater, he found an air pocket, just big enough to breathe. Apparently, when a ship goes down, the bathroom becomes the penthouse suite. He clung to the sink, or rather, the bottom of the sink, and tried to stay calm. Outside the room, he could still hear the muffled screams of his crew. Shouts, cries, panic, he'd recall later. And then, nothing. One by one, the voices fell silent, drowned, gone. O'Keefe knew the watertight door was still out there, maybe his only way out, but each time he tried to reach it, he nearly drowned. So, in that air pocket, freezing, wounded, and alone, he made a decision to wait, to hope, to survive. He prayed. He sang church songs to himself in the dark. He thought about his wife, his mother, what they must be feeling, what the world would say when they found the wreckage. He found a soda can, a can of sardines, and some floating wooden panels. Not much of a last meal, but better than nothing. He tied together scraps of fabric into a rope to help him find his way back when diving toward the watertight door. And as the hours passed and the cold set into his bones, he built himself a small wooden raft to keep his body above the freezing water. There, in the darkness, a man no one believed could still be alive was quietly refusing to die. Time passed, but O'Keen had no way of knowing how much. Was it hours, days, a lifetime? Down there, 30 meters below the surface, time wasn't measured in minutes. It was measured in heartbeats. And hope. Each time he tried to reach the exit hatch, he was forced back by the freezing water, the crushing pressure, and his dwindling breath. And still, he tried. Again and again. Eventually, he made peace with the silence, with the darkness, with the idea that maybe this would be his grave. But then, something changed. A noise, a vibration, a presence. O'Keen had no idea what it was. A diver? A ghost? His own mind playing tricks? He banged on the steel wall, hoping, praying that someone might hear. At first, nothing. But then, a flicker of light. Not a hallucination, not a dream. A diver. All right, quick break. I've got something important to say. If you're still watching, that means you're one of the curious ones. And for people like me, curiosity might just be the key. You see, I didn't choose to be here. I woke up in this place, this room, and somehow these broadcasts started uploading to a channel called Darkpen. Don't ask me who runs it. I don't know. But I do know one thing. The more people watch, the more doors seem to open. So if you'd like to be part of that, subscribe to Darkpen. For me, it's not just a button, it's a way out. Now then, where were we? O'Keen swam toward the light, and the diver, thinking he'd found a corpse, was stunned when a hand reached out and grabbed him. Note to self, if a hand ever grabs you from the darkness at the bottom of the ocean, scream second, ask questions later. Yep. Anyways, it took a few moments for the diver to realize this man was alive. Rescue divers couldn't believe it. He had been down there for nearly 3 days. 3 days. In complete darkness, in freezing water, with only a tiny air pocket to breathe from. By all logic, he should have been dead. But somehow, his body had adapted. His vitals, perfect. Temperature, blood pressure, everything, normal. Even science was surprised. They couldn't bring him straight to the surface. The sudden change in pressure would have killed him. Instead, he was placed in a decompression chamber and spent another 3 days there. 6 total, trapped between life and death. When he was finally released, the world saw a miracle. But Harrison? He saw something else. At night, he couldn't sleep. He'd feel the bed sinking. He'd wake up reaching for his wife, trying to open the door, thinking the ocean had returned. He was alive, but not okay. The trauma clung to him like the water had, and for a while, he drifted. But then came a choice, to run from the ocean or return to it. He chose the latter. Harrison trained as a diver. He faced the very thing that nearly took his life and made it his profession. Today he works underwater, repairing, constructing, living amongst the waves. And he still says the ocean is his favorite place. When Harrison talks about his time underwater, he doesn't speak of fear. Not anymore. He speaks of faith, of strength, of the moment he chose to keep breathing, even when everything around him had stopped. He says, "I had to kill the fear before it killed me." because fear consumes more oxygen than anything else. And in the silence, in that dark, sunken tomb, he prayed, not for rescue, but for peace. And maybe that's what saved him. Years later, he lives by the sea. He's built a family. He's found purpose, not despite the ocean, but because of it. He says he knows there is a God, that there must be, because no man survives what he did by chance alone. But he also believes something else. Happiness, joy, our future, they're all in our hands. The real miracle wasn't just survival, it was the decision to live, to keep moving, to face the thing that almost killed him, and say, I'm not afraid anymore. So, if today you're in a dark place, maybe not 30 meters under the sea, but something that feels just as heavy, remember this. Sometimes the only thing you need to do is keep breathing. And if this video ever reaches you, Harrison, just know, your story isn't forgotten. You didn't just survive, you inspired. You faced the dark and came back shining. We see you, we honor you, and now it's your turn. What do you think about Harrison's story? What would you have done, trapped in the dark like that? Or maybe you've got something else on your mind, a theory, a suggestion, a critique, or even just something you need to get off your chest. Whatever it is, the comments are open. I may be locked away, but I read everything, and if I can, I'll bring your words into the next episode. Hope isn't some magical fix. It doesn't erase the fear or fix the darkness, but it does give you a reason to take the next breath, to hold on just one more minute, and sometimes that's enough to change everything. The curtain falls, but the mask remains. Until next time, farewell.
Mr. Mask, you stand so tall, but who will catch you